Welcome, Mr. Triple. If you can test your video for me. Sorry, let me get you promoted first. All right. Now can you test your audio video for us? We're having some weird tech things over here today.
Hey, Mike, this is Andrew Triple joining the meeting.
Yep, loud and clear on both. Thank you. And Project Planner Shikala, if you can test your audio video for us.
Hey, Mike, can you hear me?
Can you hear you?
Yeah.
Can't see you yet, but we can test your video later if you like.
Hold on.
There we go.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. And with that, Chair Weeks, all staff is present and commissioners are present, and we are ready when you are at 4.
Thank you, Mike. Okay, here we all are. Mike, do you want to, okay, so everybody's here, ready to go? So with that, I would like to call to order the July 7th, 2021 meeting of the Santa Rosa Planning Commission. Before we start, I'd like to read the following statement. Due to the provisions of the Governor's Executive Orders N-25-20 and N-29-20, which suspend certain requirements of the Brown Act and the order of the Health Officer of the County of Sonoma to shelter in place to minimize the spread of COVID-19, the Planning Commissioners will be conducting today's meeting in a virtual setting using Zoom webinar. Commissioners and staff are participating from remote locations and are practicing appropriate social distancing. Members of the public may view and listen to the meeting as noted on the city's website and as noted on the agenda. Members of the public wishing to speak during item 4, which is public comment period, or during our public hearing, will be able to do so by raising their hand and will be given the ability to address the commission. Mr. Maloney, if you'd like to call roll.
Thank you, Chair Weeks. Let the record reflect that all commissioners are present.
Thank you. Item 2 is study session, which we don't have today. Item 3, approval of minutes, which we don't have. So with that, I'll go ahead and go to item 4, which is public comments. And I'll open the public comment portion for any item not included in this meeting's agenda. If you wish to make a comment via Zoom, please select the raise hand button. If you are dialing in via telephone, please dial *9 to raise your hand. Each speaker has 3 minutes. A countdown timer will appear for the convenience of the speaker and the viewers. Please make sure to unmute yourself when you're invited to do so, and your microphone will be muted at the end of that countdown.
Thank you, Chair Weeks. As of right now, we have 1 member of the public in attendance, and they are not raising their hand.
Okay. So with that, I will go ahead and close the public comment portion of the meeting. So then we'll move on to item 5, Planning Commissioners Report. And I'd like to start off by reading our statement of purpose. The Planning Commission is charged with carrying out the California planning and zoning laws in the city of Santa Rosa. Duties include implementing of plans, ordinances, and policies relating to land use matters, assisting in writing and implementing the general plan and area plans, holding public hearings, and acting on proposed changes to the zoning code, zoning map, general plan, tentative subdivision maps, and undertaking special planning studies as needed. So with that, if there are any committee reports from either subdivision or waterway advisory? Okay, seeing none. Then we'll go ahead and go to commissioner reports. Are there any reports or comments commissioners would like to make? Commissioner Collier.
Thank you, Chair Weeks. Unfortunately, tonight will be my last meeting. I'll be resigning from the commission as I'm moving to a house that's just outside the city limits. So I will unfortunately not be able to serve on the commission further from tonight. But I just want to appreciate all of you fellow commissioners, and especially Chair Weeks and former Chair Patty Sisko and staff for an incredible 3-ish years. And I appreciate everything that I've learned from all of you, and I look forward to hopefully doing something in the future again.
Can I deny that? Can I reject it? Do I have any power as chair? Probably not, huh?
Unless you want to annex my new house into the city, which you're more than welcome to do. Feel free.
Well, thank you, Commissioner Collier. It's been a joy to get to know you and to work with you, and you will be sorely missed. Does anybody have any other comments to make? Commissioner Krupke? Oh, Commissioner Holton. No. Sorry, Commissioner Krupke.
No, it's good. No, I just want to say, it's going to, Akash, you're going to be sorely missed. Yeah, you always had a great perspective. I also consider you a friend, and it's going to be a big loss for the Planning Commission. You're always a very had a metered approach to Planning Commission, and very evidence based. So, hopefully you do find something that you can continue to serve our community in. Not just for you, but also for our community. I think our community would be greatly served by continuing to have your presence in it. So thanks for your service on this commission, and I'm sure I'll be seeing you soon.
Commissioner Holton?
It's sad we didn't get to meet in person, but hey, maybe I'll see you around the community, and hey, I could rent you a room in my house. We could, but then you'd be in my district. So yeah. You'll be missed, definitely. Thank you for your service. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Any other comments? Okay, so with that, we will go to the department reports.
Hey, good afternoon. Thank you, Chair Weeks. Good afternoon, commissioners. And Commissioner Collier, it is sad to hear that you'll be leaving us, but thank you so much for all that you've done. It's been a great pleasure to work with you and to work for you on behalf of the Planning Commission. So hopefully we'll see you back again. So just a couple of quick reminders for today's department report. As I think you received earlier this week, the reminder about the Joint City Council and Planning Commission study session on July 20th. We did go out with a reminder that will begin at 12:30 a.m. or 12:30 p.m., not a.m. So please be sure that you've confirmed your attendance with Mike so that we have an accurate roster for that study session. We've been giving you updates on changes to the virtual meeting format. And we do anticipate that the Planning Commission will begin holding hybrid meetings in August. We don't have a specific date at which that meeting will be, but we are working closely with the City Clerk's office and City Manager's office to move to that hybrid meeting format. We'll be in coordination with Chair Weeks and Vice Chair Peterson to respond to any questions that you might have, as well as any concerns that you might present as we make this transition. But it is great that we have the City Council as an example of a highly effective hybrid meeting format. And we look forward to providing a similar format and being just as successful as they are in that transition. And then finally, looking at our projects for review during the month of August, you can anticipate that we will be holding the regularly scheduled meeting on August 12th. However, the August 26th meeting is currently tentative, and we'll keep you updated as projects come in for review for that meeting. So with that, that concludes the staff report. We look forward to this evening's review of the zoning code interpretations that for many of us has been a long time coming. So we're glad to have it on the agenda for you this evening. Thank you, Chair Weeks.
Thank you, Andrew. And I would like to mention that on the council agenda on Tuesday are 2 appeals. Andrew, do you want to just briefly touch on those?
Sure. So earlier this spring, the Planning Commission reviewed 2 projects. One was 2300 Bethards, a cannabis retail dispensary project. Planning Commission approved that project, and that approval was appealed to City Council. And so that appeal will be considered during a public hearing on July 13th. Chair Weeks will participate in that public hearing representing Planning Commission. Additionally, earlier this spring, Planning Commission reviewed an appeal of director's determinations for a project at 1900 Brush Creek Road. And the Planning Commission's decision to deny appeal and uphold director determinations was appealed to City Council. So that project will also be considered during a public hearing on August 13th. And again, Chair Weeks will be present to represent the Planning Commission and its decision at that meeting.
Thank you, Andrew.
Sure, thank you.
So then we'll move on to item 7, statement of abstentions. Are there any abstentions by the commissioners this evening? Nope. Okay. Thank you. So item 8, consent items. We don't have any. So we'll move to item 9, which is item 9.1, public hearing, zoning code amendment, exempt project study file citywide -ST 21-001. And Ms. Shikali will lead us off.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Chair Weeks. I'm going to share my screen right now. Here you go. Okay, great. Okay, you can see my screen, my presentation. Great. So thank you, Chair Weeks, and good afternoon, members of the Planning Commission. The item before you is codification of zoning code. I'm sorry, just a second. I have to correct my PowerPoint on the other side. Give me a second. Okay. So the item before you today is codification of zoning code interpretations and other technical amendments. The proposed zoning code amendment will incorporate 20 zoning code interpretations issued by the zoning administrator and includes amendments that are technical in nature, such as a chapter renaming, corrections to downtown station area specific plan implementation sections, and other minor changes. Our current zoning code was adopted in 2004, and it allows the zoning administrator to issue interpretations when there are questions about the meaning of the meaning or applicability of specific parts of the code. Since 2011, the zoning administrator has issued 30 such interpretations. 7 of these interpretations have been codified through other amendments, and 3 of the interpretations are temporary measures written in response to COVID-19 public health order. And these 10 interpretations are not included in today's project proposal. Here you can see the subjects of these 20 interpretations proposed for codification today. These interpretations cover diverse topics like fence height, LED price signs for gas stations and drive-through menu boards, and the introduction of cottage food operations as a home occupation. I am going to give you an example of one interpretation. In January 2013, the California Homemade Food Act went into effect and created a new category of food facility operation called cottage food operation, which, unlike other food facilities, can be operated out of a home kitchen. And per this law, cities cannot prohibit cottage food operation. As a result of this law, an interpretation was issued in January 2003. You can see it on the slide on the left side. And this interpretation provides a definition for this term, and it includes cottage food operation as a type of home occupation that does not require a planning entitlement. Both those changes are shown on the left side, so you can see under section 2042.07, we have added cottage food as a home occupation, and under our glossary definition, we also provide a definition for this use. Here, I'm going to give you another example for an interpretation. The applicability section in zoning code exempts city projects from entitlement permits, while the design review section requires that city projects are reviewed by the design review board. These two sections raise questions about under what circumstances a public or city projects require an entitlement permit and compliance with the zoning code. As a result, zoning code interpretation was issued in June 2017 to clarify that the city's projects are not required to obtain planning permits. The proposed zoning code amendment adds a sentence underlined in this slide, which says that the conceptual design review by the design review board is required for city projects. This sentence creates consistency with this design review section. Also, as a result of this interpretation, we are proposing deletion of certain text shown here as it's like a strike-through text. And additionally, we want to clarify reference to redevelopment agency by adding, here is in the bold, we are adding a word that says, or its successor agency to this paragraph to reference redevelopment agency. I'm going to give some other technical correction examples. The removal of aggressive economic development measures, we are going to remove that because the ordinance included a sunset date in August 2015, renaming the title of a chapter to better reflect the intent of provisions, and changing a footnote in our land use tables to correct Assembly Bill number. And here the slide reflects technical corrections to the accessory dwelling unit ordinance to better reflect consistency with state law. Some of these corrections include regulations of side corner setbacks, removal of restrictive second-story setbacks, requirement for ADUs to have a separate exterior door, and permitting of attached ADUs for existing multifamily developments. And this slide shows the majority of technical corrections related to our downtown station area specific plan. These amendments are made to improve the internal consistency with the zoning code and implement the specific plan. So some of these corrections include clarifying the director level design review process within the review authority table and deleting redundant language in the land use table for downtown zoning districts, eliminating superseded downtown station area combining district, removing the superseded specific plan figure and table footnotes from the parking chapter. And last part about technical corrections, there are amendments to resilient city development measures for some of the corrections, to make corrections. These corrections include removal for the requirements for notification of temporary use permit of accessory structures like classrooms and childcare facilities, and removal of a section that is about setback exemption and regulation, because this language was previously added to another section of the zoning code. And the addition of automatic tenancy map time extensions that were unintentionally removed as a part of the most recent update. About the environmental review, the proposed text amendments, which are meant to clarify the original intent of the zoning code, are minor in nature and do not substantially change or alter the purpose of the code. Therefore, this project is exempt from California Environmental Quality Act. With that, it is recommended by the Planning and Economic Development Department that the Planning Commission recommend to the City Council adoption of an ordinance amending the zoning code to incorporate zoning code interpretations made by the city's zoning administrator and other technical corrections that are minor in nature, and also the addition to the text which says or its successor agency to reference redevelopment agency. And that was my presentation. I know it covers so many topics. Here is my email and my phone number for anyone from public who wants to contact me. On the last page, I have also provided the list of this interpretation for any member of the commissioner wants to pull that interpretation and has questions. I'm available. I know other staffs are also available to answer any questions that you have. And that was my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Shakali. Any questions of staff before I go ahead and open the public hearing? Okay, seeing none, I will open the public hearing on this item. If you wish to make a comment via Zoom, please select the raised hand button. If you're dialing in via telephone, please dial *9 to raise your hand. Each speaker has 3 minutes. A countdown timer will appear for the convenience of the speaker and viewers. Please make sure to unmute yourself when you are invited to do so. Your microphone will be muted at the end of that countdown. And I don't believe there's any member of the public attending. Is that right, Mike?
Mike stepped away. This is the host, and correct. There are no members of the public in attendance at this time.
Thank you, Patty. Okay, so we'll wait just a second, just to make sure nobody decides to jump in. Okay, with that, I will go ahead and close the public hearing on this item and bring it back to the commission. So let's start alphabetically on any comments we might have, unless somebody wants to go ahead and read the resolution and get us started. Okay, Miss Duggan, Commissioner Duggan.
Well, I'm willing to move the resolution, if that's okay with people. I'll move a resolution of the Planning Commission of the City of Santa Rosa recommending to City Council approval of zoning code text amendments to incorporate zoning code interpretations made by the city's zoning administrator and other technical corrections that are minor in nature, file number ST21-001, and waive further reading.
Okay, and we do need to add in that section, let me find it. Could you add also, including the addition of the text in or its successor agency as described by staff in the presentation?
Okay, including the addition of the text or its successor agency as described by staff.
Yes, thank you very much. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Commissioner Holton. Commissioner Carter?
Yeah, I believe all of the clarifications and explanations prepared by staff are pretty straightforward, and I'm generally in support of the proposal and make all the findings. I do have a couple, one clarifying question perhaps. Does the city in fact have a redevelopment agency or a successor agency? I thought those were a thing of the past. Can I get some clarification on that?
Yeah, actually the city council, the redevelopment agency is a thing of the past, but the council is the successor agency.
Okay, I understand the clarifying language, and then I can make all the necessary findings. I will add that as we get more complex planning in the city, the zoning code gets more and more complex, and these kind of cleanups and reconciliations become more and more common, I'm anticipating that we'll have another opportunity when we complete the general plan process. But for now, I think this makes sense to go through these changes.
Thank you. Commissioner Holton? I'm sorry, Commissioner Duggan, sorry. I don't know my alphabet.
I will second everything Commissioner Carter has said. I'm all in favor of these changes.
Thank you. Commissioner Holton?
I am also in favor of these well-needed changes. I think it's really important to kind of, especially get rid of a lot of the redundancy that I had noticed. So it was really well thought through and really well proofread. So appreciate it. I'm also in support. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Collier, your last vote.
I also can make all the required findings and can support all of the recommendation from staff.
Thank you. Commissioner Krepke?
I too can make all the required findings for the codification of the zoning code interpretations, so I'll be in support of this.
Thank you. Vice Chair Peterson?
I can also make all the required findings. I think it's a good project, appropriate, and I also know there's a tremendous amount of work, so I want to thank the planner and Planning and Economic Development Department in general for undertaking this. I think it's a very useful project to do.
Thank you. And I also can make all the required findings and will be supporting this. And I do want to commend Ms. Shakali for her clear staff report and laying out the changes. It was very easy to follow. So thank you for that. So with that, we will go ahead, and that was moved by Commissioner Duggan, seconded by Commissioner Holton. Mr. Maloney or Ms. Gregg, if you'd like to call roll.
Thank you, Chair Weed. Commissioner Carter?
Aye.
Commissioner Duggan?
Aye.
Commissioner Holton?
Aye.
Commissioner Collier?
Aye.
Commissioner Krepke?
Aye.
Vice Chair Peterson?
Aye.
And Chair Weeks?
Aye. So that concludes the only scheduled item on our meeting today, unless staff has anything else they'd like to impart to us before we adjourn the meeting. Not seeing, oh, Mr. Triple?
It took me just a minute. No, Chair Weeks, thank you all so much. We greatly appreciate it and look forward to enjoying these revisions to the code. That will save us a lot of time. Thank you.
Thank you. One thing I did forget to ask, I'm sorry, is when this would go to, do you have an idea when this would go to council?
I'm not sure if it's been agendized yet or not for council.
I didn't see it on the advanced agenda. So
It is not yet, Andrew, just letting you know. I have not yet. So
Right.
I have to make some of the changes and add that language there too. So it will be scheduled hopefully soon. Thanks.
So we'll
Great.
probably look early to mid-fall. It
Okay.
takes us about 8 weeks or so to get
right.
items onto the council agenda.
Okay, thank you very much.
Great,
So
thank
with-
you all.
So with that, I will go ahead and adjourn this meeting to the next scheduled meeting of the Planning Commission. Thank you.